Hi, everyone. Thank you for taking your time to attend my presentation. I am Hyeshin Chu, one of the authors of this paper titled An Empirical Study on How People Perceive AI-Generated Music. With the development of content sharing platforms such as YouTube and TikTok, the desire to attract the desire to produce attractive content has increased a lot. As the new content types that combine video and music have attracted a huge number of users, AI-based music generation models have been considered as a great alternative, which provides comparable musical content for both professional and the novice users. What motivated me to start this research is that we can feel the difference between the songs, and we all have different levels of satisfaction with the different songs. However, novice users cannot recognize the why they feel the differences, and also the prior studies in AI music generation systems do not discuss deeply about the specific subjective metrics that reflect the human evaluation of songs to design the future music generation models. To address this issue, I aim to understand how humans perceive AI-generated music. To this goal, this research includes these 4 contributions. First, we derived the taxonomy on music generation models, and also we developed the subjective metrics for AI music evaluation. Third, we perform a comprehensive user study with 100 participants in the online using the 4 state-of-the-art music generation models. And last, we also suggest some lessons learned on future research directions. So to understand the current achievement and the challenges, let's go over the prior studies in AI music generation models and the evaluation metrics of them. First, AI music generation models can be divided by some standards, and as noted here, such as like level of autonomy or music representation approach or the architecture. But in this research, we will focus on the fully autonomous music generation models using the symbolic representation approach. The problem is that the prior studies in AI music generation models only focus on the algorithmic aspects with the limited explanation about the subjective evaluation metrics or how the users really feel about the music. Next, evaluation metrics. It is true that some of the prior studies have highlighted the significance and also the difficulties of subjective evaluation metrics in AI-generated music. However, they suggest some subjective evaluation metrics, such as Turing test or the comparison between AI-generated music. But in this research, we will focus only on the latter one. So, but in these kind of prior studies, there also exist some limitations. For example, they do not have a lot of explanation on how they develop the evaluation metrics, and also they do not give abundant explanation on how they defined each metric or how they conducted the user study and how we can analyze the results. So, in this research, I aim to answer to these kind of questions. So these are in the preliminary study section. Let me introduce how we characterize the music generation models and select our own baseline models for our experiment. So in the preliminary study section, first we characterize the 40 music generation models. And then we exclude the monophonic music, and also we focus on the single voice music only, because in this step we exclude the multiple voice musics, because in this research we aim to focus only on the music generation itself, not on exploring the various features of the music generation task. And also we exclude the conditional music generation test that use anything other than the short music pieces, because we aim to narrow down and simplify the music generation task. And finally, we select the 4 state-of-the-art models among them. Since the research aims to measure subjective evaluation of music generation models, we select the ones that show the best performances in objective evaluation. In the method section, let me explain the data sets, the baseline models, and the evaluation metrics that we used for our user study and how we built them. So in the baseline models, these 4 are the baseline models that we used in our user study: music transformer, compound word transformer, transformer gens, and theme transformer. As the table indicates here, they have different kind of music representation approaches, and also they have some different characteristics in their model architecture. So from now on, I'll explain our evaluation metrics and how I build them. So first, we collect subjective evaluation metrics among the 40 music generation models that we collected and categorize them based on their definition. And then we suggest our 9 subjective evaluation metrics. So first, among the 40 music generation models, 10 of them did not conduct any kind of listening test, and 2 only conduct turing test or the ranking type questions. So excluding these 12 models, we have 28 music generation models and 39 unique metrics from them. So among the 39 unique metrics, we exclude theme-specific and emotion-related ones because these are the metrics that can only apply to very specific kind of tasks. And also we exclude the ones that appeared only once. And last, we add creativity because it is very important to express the human creativity in the music generation process, as a lot of prior studies has pointed out. So after this procedure, we categorize them based on their definitions. So these are the 9 subjective metrics that we propose in this research and we used in our user study. So among the 9 evaluation metrics, we used only 8 of them, from the overall satisfaction to structuredness to the unconditional music generation test, while we use all 9 of them to conditional music generation test, which are from the overall satisfaction to coherence. So from now on, this is the procedure of our user study. Our user study aims to understand how human users perceive the AI-generated music. To address this goal, our user study consists of 3 steps. First, demographic survey. Second, listening test. And third, post-survey. The demographic survey, in this section, we gathered participants' characteristics, such as their interest or background knowledge in music. And in the second step, in listening test, the participants evaluated the generated songs based on the metrics. And in the last step, post-survey, we aim to understand their opinions on the metrics that we provided. So there were 2 separate tests in the experiment. One to evaluate the human satisfaction with unconditional music generation test, and the other to evaluate their satisfaction on conditional music generation test. To begin with, as we recruited 100 online participants, only 50 participants can participate to unconditional test, and the other 50 participated to the other conditional music generation test. So in each test, 50 participants listen to 9 songs and evaluate their satisfaction based on our proposed subjective metrics. And excluding the insincere answers, we have 43 valid participants in unconditional music generation test and 40 valid participants in conditional music generation test. So as a result, we could earn 129 evaluation for unconditional test and 120 valid evaluations for conditional music generation test. So this slide indicates the demographics of our user study. So as you can see in this slide, the 83 participants who provided sincere answers include all of them are novice users in music, which means that they have no expertise in music. And also 10 out of 83 participants have professional education in music. Also, 82 out of 83 participants have a lot of interest or experience in the musical activities. This means that our participants represent the novice users with high interest and little background knowledge in music. So from now on, let me introduce the results of our user study. First, let's begin with the qualitative analysis. In this section, the section divides into 2 parts. The first one is the comparison between the songs of each model, and the second part is the comparison between the models. First, there were no significant difference in overall satisfaction among the 3 songs of each model. As you can see in this table, the p-value indicates the significant difference. So in terms of overall satisfaction, all of them do not have any significant difference between the songs, while only two value over there, theme, the naturalness and the structuredness of theme transformer, they have significant difference. But in terms of overall satisfaction, they have no significant difference. So we can conclude that there is no significant difference between the songs that we used in our user study in each model. And then let's move on to the comparison between the models. First, in each case, the metric that received the highest score and the lowest score are like this. So highest score varies depending on the tasks and the metrics. However, creativity, you can see the pink line over there. The creativity got the lowest score in 3 out of 6 cases. This indicates that current AI generated music show comparable performance in several musical characteristics, such as melodiousness or rhythmicity. But while people expect much more creativity in the music generation process and the music generated by AI itself. So moreover, the participants express the different levels of satisfaction in each model and in each metric too. For example, compound word transformer scored significantly higher score in melodiousness than all the other like baseline models, and also music transformer got its comparable performance in richness, while transformer again recorded its highest score in coherence. What impressed us is that the participants think of coherence even in the unconditional task, where we did not provide coherence as an evaluation metric. So this implies that the model had a great impact on the participants in terms of coherence. And last, theme transformer received the highest score in StructureNet with abundant comments on it. Then let's move on to the next section. In this section, let me introduce the 4 findings of our qualitative analysis. In this section, I aim to deliver what people expect and they actually experience by listening to AI generated music. Also, we found some lessons to further develop AI music generation models too. First, in the post-survey of our user study, we had a multiple choice question asking the participants to select a criterion that affects the most to their overall satisfaction. We used the result of the question to the user's expectation in this table. And also we have another criterion, actual responses. For that part, we actually count the number of mentions that each participant mentioned about each criterion. So as you can see here, melodiousness is the most effective criterion in most cases, both in the user expectation and the actual responses, and naturalness is also ranked very high. Second, we found that comprehensive evaluation metrics and detailed description can not only help them to evaluate the AI-generated music, but they also can help them to understand the music. Third, people want more controllability in AI music generation, which means that enabling users to freely select some musical features such as melody or like pitch or tempo of the music based on their circumstances and the personal preferences can enhance their users' satisfaction because it makes them to feel that they have a lot of controllability in the generation process. And last, people value catchiness, familiarity, and replayability in addition to our 9 subjective metrics. So to this goal, in this research, we have these kind of 4 main contributions. First, we derived the taxonomy and music generation models, and we developed subjective metrics for AI music evaluation. And we perform a comprehensive user study with 100 online participants. And last, we suggest some lessons learned to future research direction. So this is the end of my presentation. And thank you for your time. And please feel free to ask any questions. Thank you.
That was an interesting talk. So I'm pretty sure there are some questions. Yes, please.
Thank you.
Can you come to the mic?
First, do you have a the demography of the users? I mean, you said that there are 100 users, but I don't know if they are old. So you provide like some kind of background in music, but I don't know if they are old. They have some, let's say, nationality, or they are from that region. Do you have more details on the demography of the users?
Yeah, the question was about the demographics of our user study. And actually in the user study and recruiting section, I recruit a lot of the nationalities and the gender. I focused on balancing them because we thought that maybe the nationality of the gender can affect to their overall satisfaction. So we focused on balancing them, such as among the 100 participants, some of them are Asian and some of them are European and some of the people are from United States. And we balanced the number of them and also the gender too, because male and female users were at 50 and 50. But in this presentation, I skipped that part because of the timing issue. But in the paper, you can find that kind of content.
And, about age, you have a division of
Yeah.
of the age is homogeneous.
Yeah, in the
About-
paper, there is a content about age too.
Another question in the, I think in the previous slide, can you go back? The other one. Yeah. The point says 3, people want more controllability in AI music generation. I don't understand very well this point or the relationship because I saw that the content was already created, right? But if you said that this point 3 is some kind of a la carte or some kind of on-demand creation, but I think I don't understand very well how this it fits in the whole study.
Yeah, very good question. And the question, when I write the paper, I actually considered about that point. But I think the important is the level of the creativity that we have to give to the users. Because as you said, people do not want 100% creativity because then they do not feel actually the role of the music generation models. But if the music generation models give some kind of baseline framework, I mean, baseline melodies or baseline accompaniments, and give some points of the creativity. And in that space, people like that kind of system more.
And the last question, among the participants, are they aware that everything this is generated, or there is some group that is not aware? They think that is something pre-created by a human.
I guess I missed the question a bit. So would you like to clarify?
Again, is people like kind of blind that this is AI music, or they are aware that this AI music?
The people are aware that they are generated by models.
Yeah, right.
They
They
were
are
aware.
There
aware.
are no a group that is unaware of
No.
people.
Yeah, right. All
were
of them.
All of
Yeah.
them are aware. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
All right, so we have one more question, okay?
Okay.
I don't want to hold you guys before lunch, but we'll hurry up, no worries.
Okay, thank you.
ahead.
Thanks for the presentation. A short one, just coming to complement what was just asked by the previous participant. Regarding the profiles of the participants in your studies, beyond the demography, I was wondering, like, if I look into your criteria, for example, melodiousness or naturalness, I mean, these are things which are extremely subjective. It depends a lot on the
Yeah.
background of every particular listener. So do you have some details to share about that? For example, what is
Yeah.
the awareness of people, knowledge of people about music in general?
Yeah, actually, that is the point that we consider the most in planning the user study and actually conducting the user study. So among the authors, and also in the expert interview, we recruited some expertise in the music, but who are the professors in the musicology. So they reviewed our description about each metric and clarify whether this is easy enough for them to understand and actually evaluate the music based on these metrics. And also, it has to be very easy and clear for the novice user because our target user of the user study was the novice users and not the professionals. So we thought that it is very important to clarify that it is easy and it can be understandable to all the users. And in the user study, as you mentioned, we worried a bit that even if we reviewed all the metrics and the definitions, there are some participants who do not have any kind of knowledge in the music, so that they cannot understand anything. But in the user study, and when we collective thematic coding, the collective analysis and the answers about that, not all, but most of the answers had had a lot of comments that our evaluation study and the metrics used in the user study was very good because we have a lot of best explanation about the metrics. So I think there exists still a room for the worrisome, but we kind of clarify, we did our best to clarify that room. Thank you.
Thank you.